Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming here today for the Worker Cooperative Advocacy Day at the State House with Rhode Island Worker Cooperative Alliance and Fuerza Laboral and a lot of our allies and member groups. We're here today to celebrate and advocate for worker cooperative businesses and in general, and also specifically around some legislation, which you'll hear more about, that we had introduced this year. My name is Chloe Chassing. I am a worker owner at a worker cooperative cafe in Providence. I'm here with one of my co-worker owners, Danny, and I was a longtime worker at the business. And 4 years ago, we purchased the business and reopened it as a worker cooperative. So it's been a really rewarding, not only working there and seeing the difference it's made for us as workers to have a say in our workplace and to be able to collaborate with each other to run the business, and it really just increases the sense of dignity and investment in our workplace. And beyond that, it's also been very inspiring to be part of helping build this coalition of other worker cooperatives and organizations that help support worker cooperatives, like Fuerza Laboral, longtime worker cooperative champions, really have set the groundwork in Rhode Island, and some of the other groups like Co-op Brody. And so it's been really a pleasure to be part of this group of people who are really interested in helping build the next economy that is, something that values sustainability and equity and opportunity. This also happens to be the International Year of Cooperatives as deemed by the UN, so it feels really fitting to be part of that global movement. On the back table, there's some information from some of our other groups. If you'd like to, learn more about the Rhode Island Worker Cooperative Alliance, also there's some information on the legislation you'll hear more about later, the Opportunity for Employee Ownership Act, which gives employees the opportunity to purchase their workplaces when they're put up for sale, as a way to help save small businesses. As you can see the sign over there, save our small businesses with worker ownership. We really believe that. There's a large percentage of business owners right now who are reaching the point of retirement, and it's really a critical moment where we feel like we can solve multiple problems at once, where business owners who want to retire might not have someone to buy their business. It's actually quite often that they aren't able to sell business, so it's a kind of built-in, invested, with the workforce, that they would be naturally very invested to keep their own jobs and see the legacy of the business continue. It also will provide good jobs, help retain the character of the community with our beloved small businesses. So we really see it as triple or more win in all different categories. So this is the first year we submitted the legislation. Again, you'll hear more about it from our wonderful Representative Jennifer Stewart, who submitted it, and we also thank Senator Chacon, who submitted it on the Senate side. I think that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to pass it over to David Molina Hernandez from Fuerza Laboral.
Hello everyone, my name is David Molina Hernandez. I am the Communication Director in Fuerza Laboral. Does anybody here knows Fuerza Laboral? Okay, yeah, many people know Fuerza Laboral. We focus primarily on labor justice. That's why we started this nonprofit. We also, through the years, have been trying to find what is the best way to do it. Because labor injustice is many things at the same time. It comes to many different populations. Our population is primarily a Latino, immigrant, and low-income community. So I think that we should talk about the transformational power of worker-owned cooperatives. More than just businesses, worker-owned cooperatives are like engines of opportunity because they come with equity. Fuerza Laboral decided to go like full on with the cooperative movement once we figured out that is the best way to help low-income families to escape poverty, because low-income families will go from being workers to business owners, but worker business owners. Because of how cooperatives are structured, which is democratic, they run as a democracy, they're transparent, and they have shared responsibility. They are a natural defense against labor injustice. Labor injustice such as wage theft. You cannot steal your other worker owner the way a boss will steal from the workers. Abuse of power for the same reason. Everybody has a vote, everybody's making a decision. Wrongful termination, and many other ways that we see labor injustice. Because of how cooperatives are structured, it cannot happen. In a cooperative, decisions aren't made like in a boardroom far away. They're made by people who do the work and who know the community. That will, now that we have established how they can work and benefit for everyone, let's talk about Central Falls and Pawtucket, which is where we are here in Rhode Island. Even though we are the only nonprofit worker center that deals with work injustice in all Rhode Island, that's where our main population lives, right? Our more community lives. Central Falls and Pawtucket are two cities that are rich in culture, in history, and in entrepreneurial spirit. How many of you have seen how many business born from immigrants in Pawtucket and Central Falls? If you have seen there, you have seen many, right? Many of these businesses are owned by first-generation immigrants. They started, it was their dream when they come to this country to, I'm gonna have my cafeteria, I'm gonna have my boot shining industry, whatever. These ones, we may not see it like that, but they are the heartbeats of our neighborhoods. It's what made the neighborhood, because it's something that you can see and that you can recognize right away. These owners are approaching retirement. They are approaching the silver tsunami. So we face the critical question, what is going to happen with these businesses? So these businesses are mostly in the service community, are being impacted by inflation, by gentrification, by many other economic things that are happening right now, especially this year. If they close, we all lose. They are not the only ones that lose. We all lose. The city, because it's no longer what it used to be. The workers, the families, and the vibrant culture that surrounds these businesses. But if we transition them into cooperatives, we preserve jobs, we keep the wealth local, and we honor the legacy of those who build them and make Rhode Island unique. Cooperatives are practical, they're rooted in shared effort, and they're built to last. So what we're doing to these businesses that started to give different colors and shapes and textures and smells to Rhode Island are going to be able to be here and will be able to be built to last. So I will say that it's not only an economic strategy, it's also a moral responsibility for us to keep these businesses. It's our duty to ensure that local businesses don't just survive, that they thrive, that they remain in the hands of the people that care about these businesses. So today we have just one goal, which is advocate for cooperatives and the solidarity economy. Thank you very much.
I don't know
introduce myself.
I like a hot side. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Chloe, and thank you for coming out this afternoon. My name is Jennifer Stewart, and I'm the representative for the 59th Rhode Island House District in Pawtucket. It consists of the neighborhoods of Oak Hill and Woodlawn, if you're familiar with that area. And I am the prime sponsor of the Rhode Island Opportunity for Employee Ownership Act in the House. And I'm thrilled to be here this afternoon to join all these wonderful Rhode Islanders and members of the Rhode Island Worker Cooperative Alliance to talk about the importance of employee ownership and why we need to do more to make it possible for more workers in Rhode Island. So, what was mentioned a little bit ago is the sort of status or the conditions of small businesses. So small businesses account for approximately 99% of all US businesses. And as was mentioned just a while ago, they provide jobs, employing about just shy of half of private sector workers, so about 47%. So these small businesses anchor our local tax base, they donate to our local charities, and they support our community events. They are vital for the health and stability of our communities. Yet, when an owner wants to exit their business for any reason, a majority of Rhode Island small businesses have no succession plan. Moreover, in the coming weeks and months, many small business owners plan to retire. So many that analysts refer to a coming, what we heard earlier, silver tsunami. And although some businesses will be sold to a larger company or perhaps to an out-of-area buyer, or maybe a few will be passed on to family members. According to Project Equity, not only do the vast majority of business owners not have a succession plan in place, many are finding it increasingly difficult to find a buyer when they are ready to sell, and none of those scenarios are good for the long-term stability of our communities. So the Opportunity for Employee Ownership Act is aimed at providing small business continuity and aimed at providing employees the life-changing opportunity to co-own their own workplaces. And what the bill focuses on is trying to overcome some obstacles to employee ownership. The ones that the bill focuses on are really informational obstacles. So, and I'd also like to suggest that along with the informational obstacles, it's sort of obstacles of imagination. So, what I mean by that is the bill tries to provide some guidelines and mechanisms for informing employees that the business they work for is available for sale, but it's also a way to get employees to start to imagine themselves as worker co-owners, and tries to provide some guidelines to facilitate that process, as well as lay out some incentives for business owners to entertain fair market competitive offers by a motivated group of employees to buy the business. So by facilitating sales of small businesses to existing employees, when a business owner transitions out of ownership, local economies can preserve these successful businesses while gaining the many demonstrated and well-researched benefits of worker ownership. These benefits include better productivity, a higher pay, more job stability, and the survival of the business in question. Workers and employee-owned businesses have more savings, and I found a really interesting statistic about this. While nearly half of Americans cannot manage a $400 emergency expense, according to the Federal Reserve 2015 report they put out, most worker co-op employees believe they could find $2,000 in an emergency. That is a significant difference. So employees owning the businesses where they work have shown time and again that they improve business resilience and strengthen the communities in which they operate. And they provide a pathway to business ownership for entrepreneurs who may not have access to generational or inherited wealth. And they also bring increased job satisfaction, workplace democracy, job security for the people who day in and day out do the heavy lifting, so to speak, and everyday work that allow these businesses to thrive. So worker ownership can help businesses and communities address so many challenges. They deserve more attention and support. Through them, we can build a better capitalism. And this event is the start of that effort. So I'm so happy to be here today, and thank you for your attention.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is David Folcarelli. I'm a senior advisor to Lieutenant Governor Matos. Really happy to be here today on her behalf. I want you to know that worker ownership is her absolute top priority. And the only thing that could get her to not be here today is a completely different event on worker ownership up at Harvard. So she sends her regrets. Earlier this year, the Lieutenant Governor founded the Business Enterprise Succession Task Force Team, or as we're calling it, the BEST team. This is a group of business owners, of experts, and many folks here in the Rhode Island Worker Cooperative Alliance who are focused on figuring out how we're going to tackle this silver tsunami. So we're really happy to have the opportunity to work with folks like Chloe, folks like Rep. Stewart, and I know that we have some great officials here. Also, Senator Quezada, I believe we just lost Treasurer Diosa, but you know, the Lieutenant Governor is fully committed to helping us promote worker ownership across Rhode Island. The future is cooperative, and we know that because if we're not cooperative, there is definitely no future for us. So without anything else, I'm just going to hand it over to Margie to kick off this video from the Lieutenant Governor, which I think might need to get started over.
Happy Workers Cooperative Advocacy Day. Thank you all so much for coming to the State House to vote your support for employee-owned businesses. The work that you're doing today and in the coming month and year will create a landscape for small businesses that is democratic, equitable, and vibrant. We have to ensure that we have the resources to support the transition of any businesses into workers-owned. If we don't have the workers that are able to take on those businesses and able to purchase the businesses from their owners, what we're going to see is that those businesses are going to close. That's not good for our communities. That's not good for the workers. That's not good for the employees. That is why I'm pushing to create a Center for Employee Ownership here in the state of Rhode Island, where employee groups can come together, learn skills, the skills that they need to make their business successful and avoid a closure. This is important, and we cannot do this without you. Spread the word. Call your elected officials. Support a statewide center for employee ownership, and continue to support your local employee-owned small businesses. Thank you so much.
Hi there. I'm Eric Beecher. I'm one of 12 employee owners at Soul Power Solar Installation. We're a solar installation company based in Charlestown, Rhode Island. We've been in business since 2013 now. We're now powering more than 1,000 homes in Rhode Island with clean energy up on their rooftop. And that clean energy was also installed by employee owners. Our business, I like to think of, is a great example of everything that you've heard before in the comments today. So we are in a 4-season outdoor construction industry, which is a tough business to be in. But our approach to it is providing people with careers. It's not a seasonal job. We are providing people with good green-collar jobs and career opportunities. A great example of that is our low turnover. Since 2013, we've had 4 people leave our business. That's an average of 1 every 3 years. And that is, once again, our construction industry we're talking about here. We've seen other companies come and go. So you also heard a little bit about the sustainability of employee-owned businesses. We've outlasted every other big national company in Rhode Island. Pretty much every other company. We're now considered, like the old company in Rhode Island. And the reason we are sustainable and the reason we're still here is because of our employee ownership. That's why we're outlasting all the competition. If you look online at our reviews, you just see, every customer pretty much 5 stars. Love it, love Soul Power. Not just a quick review, but really a heartfelt comment about our company. And that's because we really take a great pride in reaching out to our customers and really connecting with them on a personal level and providing the best service that we can. That's definitely due to our employee-owned nature. I do a lot of sales for our company, and when I sit down with the customer, we'll look at the quotes they have, and I can say, okay, we are offering the best equipment on the quotes we have, and also the best price as well. I'm going to say, how is that possible that you're giving us the best pricing and the best installation? Once again, that's because we as a company care about our customers. That's because we care about our company. I can personally tell you that Soul Power is an amazing place to work for. I love it, and it's been amazing for me. I've been there since the start. And it's incredibly important to me. That's why we need to extend this opportunity to more people. So we're providing, we are a sustainable business. We've been here for the long haul. And then we're providing our employees with really a life-changing opportunity. Incredible pay, incredible benefits, and also the satisfaction of running your workplace. And so that's why it's so important, this bill and cooperatives in general, that we can extend this opportunity to as many people as possible, so they can also experience that, the joy of running their own business and all the financial and equitable benefits that go with that. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shelby Mack. I'm a member of the Lefty Lucy Bike Collective, a democratically run community bike shop based in the Valley neighborhood of Providence, and we are part of the Rhode Island Worker Cooperative Alliance. And I'm also an MBA student studying worker ownership as an economic development tool. I'm also a born and raised Rhode Islander. Hi, Mom. And I'm a proud resident of Pawtucket. I'm going to speak briefly about the evidence for worker ownership as an economic development strategy. Over the past year, I have been researching how worker cooperatives can contribute to creating vibrant, inclusive economies, ones where every resident has the ability to not only meet their basic needs and those of their families and loved ones, but also learn, contribute meaningfully to their communities, and thrive. Research shows that supporting worker cooperatives is an effective economic development strategy, building community resilience and creating sustainable, dignified jobs. According to a 2017 study from the National Center for Employee Ownership, wages are 33% higher, median job tenure is 53% longer, and net worth increases 92%. That's almost double when workers have an ownership interest in organizations where they work. When worker cooperatives form a significant portion of a region's economy, the results can be transformative. For example, the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy, where 2 in 3 residents are members of some form of cooperative, has lower unemployment, a higher quality of life rating, and remarkably higher economic resilience than most of the country's other regions. And importantly, policies, politics, funding, and mutual support have been organized over the course of more than a century to make that happen. We in Rhode Island know that we're facing remarkable challenges in this moment. The cost of living is growing significantly, and with it, wealth inequality. Nowhere in Rhode Island does minimum wage enable you to rent affordably. 1 in 10 of our neighbors are living in poverty, and many, many more of us are struggling to make ends meet. Funding for critical life-saving programs is being threatened or has already been cut. And too often, our economic policy in this state is held hostage to large corporates' decisions of where to locate, whether to be here or to move. And the small businesses, as we've heard today, that are the lifeblood of our economy are also in jeopardy. According to data compiled by Project Equity, 56% of small business owners in Rhode Island are over the age of 55, meaning we have that impending silver tsunami we've been hearing about today. And industry experts suggest that a significant portion of small businesses, maybe 70 to 80%, do not successfully sell when the owner wants to exit. And it does not have to be this way. We can build our economy from the ground up, from the people up. Worker ownership through ESOPs, employee trusts, and worker cooperatives expands the benefits of small business ownership for the many instead of the few. And worker ownership is not just about financial security and wealth building, although this is critical. From my own experience running Lefty Lucy with now 13 other people for the past 5 years, I can tell you that making decisions together has helped me personally feel how precious democracy is and how important it is that we fight for it when it's under attack. I feel such a deep sense of pride in what we've built together, the hundreds of bicycles we've given away to people who need them, the hundreds of people who have really found that they can learn mechanical and hands-on skills when given the opportunity through our classes, and the thousands of people whose bikes we've helped repair. We've done so much more together when we harness the creativity and initiative of so many more people than we would if just 1 or 2 people ran this business. That's a pride that I want everybody to have the opportunity to feel. So that's why we work to introduce the Rhode Island Opportunity for Employee Ownership Act. As you've heard, it gives workers the opportunity to buy a business in the event of a sale, and it provides an incentive to the seller. With the act, we invite Rhode Islanders to imagine a future where worker ownership is the norm, not the tiny exception, where the majority of us have the opportunity to experience the financial security, resilience, and sense of pride that comes with ownership and stewardship. And with that, we want to invite you now, if you would like, to speak with our elected representatives about the Opportunity for Employee Ownership Act. And so I will turn it to Chloe.
Thank you, Shelby. That was really great. I really loved hearing what everyone said. And as Shelby mentioned, part of why we're here today is, to hear from each other, but also to discuss with legislators how we support worker cooperatives and how we'd like them to as well. So anyone who would like to, you can come huddle with Shelby right after this, and we're going to, we don't have a lot of time because the sessions will be starting soon.
4-ish.
4-ish. So we have, maybe 15 minutes to find legislators, or also if you don't want to do that, we can discuss among ourselves. And
Actually, you have until you hear like a ringer.
yes,
until
there will
you
be a
ring
very
bell,
obvious
and then
bell
yeah.
that will ring and ring, and you still have a little time when it's ringing. But
Yeah.
so thank you everyone for coming. And oh, sorry, one other thing. So if you, in addition to that, you have seen maybe these little handouts we have. There's a QR code. If you are able to sign on to our little, it's sort of a survey / sign on. You can fill out as much as you want, so don't be intimidated by the word survey. Basically, just we want to gather as much, show of support of worker cooperatives in Rhode Island. So thank you if you're able to do that. And please stay in touch with Rhode Island Worker Cooperative Alliance, Fuerza Laboral, and support your local worker cooperative businesses. And yeah, thank you so much everyone for coming.